During the last years of the Vietnam War, the hippie culture in America exploded with hundreds and thousands of youngsters adapting this new way of life. Interestingly, at the same time, more and more cults started to develop all across America. Some of them were religious, while the others not so much. Moving into the 60s and 70s, cults like Manson Family, Children of God, the People's Temple Church, and the Heaven's Gate started to become quite famous among the masses. And pretty soon, there was a new cult starting in every state of the country. Among many such entities was one called 3HO, an organization that used one of the oldest and most followed religions in the world for its own sick purposes. This is the story of how a cult turned capitalistic corporation hijacked American Sikhism.
I know you want my attention, I'll give it to you. Stand in the tree pose there. I've finished my work. How's your sex life? Charming, sexy. Look at them. Seduce them.
Yogi Bhajan, the guru. So before getting into the details of the organization, let's first talk about the man behind it all. Yogi Bhajan was born as Harbhajan Singh Khalsa on 26 August 1929 into a pretty well-off Sikh family. His family moved to Delhi after partition, from where Yogi got his master's degree in economics. In 1953, he started a government job in the country's revenue department, eventually getting promoted to a customs officer at Delhi Airport. This was the time when he started learning Sikhism from Baba Virsa Singh at the Gobind Sadan Institute. In 1968, Yogi moved to Toronto, and without wasting a minute, he got to work. Within 3 months, he started teaching yoga all over the city, co-founded a yoga center, and helped setting the base of the first Sikh temple in eastern Canada. A year later, he moved to America and established the 3HO Foundation in Los Angeles to officially introduce his style of Sikhism to the American public. He claimed himself to be this religious figure back home, and that he was this kind of messiah that was sent to free these people from the animalistic approach they had towards life. He claimed that he had been given the knowledge about Kundalini from its oldest known master. He told his followers that he had to ride a helicopter to the rural parts of India, where he had to kneel in front of the mouth of a cave for three days before the master finally agreed to teach him Kundalini. Kundalini Yoga. Now, what exactly is Kundalini Yoga? The word Kundalini is the feminine form for the Sanskrit word coiled, or snake-like. Kundalini refers to a form of divine feminine energy that lies at the base of the spine and can be released through a series of deep and rapid breathing exercises. Basically, Kundalini is a form of yoga that is predominantly used by Hindu gurus and has its basis in ancient Hinduism teachings. It appeals to its followers by giving them a hope of taking complete control of their mind and body while becoming completely free of any form of desire. 3HO, the cult. Now that you know about Kundalini Yoga, let's move on. So the name 3HO means the healthy, happy, holy organization. Well, the motto of this organization was simple: to introduce the Westerners with a new way of life that keeps them in touch with religion, which was Sikhism in this case, and teaches them how to be healthy and happy without worrying about the worldly, materialistic problems. Now, as I have already told you, luckily for Yogi, this was the time when hippie culture in America, especially in LA, was at top. So Yogi made these young hippies his target audience. Most of his early converts were these people, and to be honest, they were quite happy and comfortable with this form of Sikhism. Now, for instance, some of the key practices in Yogi's organization were to not cut one's hair or beard. Similarly, all of his followers had to strictly follow vegetarianism. These sorts of things were already popular in hippie culture, so naturally, they didn't have much issue adjusting in the 3HO. Other than this, both men and women had to wear turbans at all times and only wear white color. Additionally, in order to be a Sikh and member of 3HO, you had to strictly stay away from all sorts of recreational drugs, alcohol, and tobacco. All of this was further strengthened by regular yoga classes, meditation, and other forms of spiritual learning. In short, Yogi had successfully given a lot of young people a sense of purpose and belief.
I'm His Holiness Sri Singh Sahib, Bhai Sahib or Bhajan Singh Khalsa Yogi Ji. But I'm not His Holiness in the sense that my word is final.
With more and more people joining him every day, the organization was certainly on rise. Soon, Yogi founded the International Kundalini Yoga Teachers Association, which was dedicated to setting new standards for teachers and the propagation of these teachings. In 1972, when the drug problem in America started getting too much and President Nixon started his drug program, Yogi launched a program of his own too, which tried dealing with heroin addiction through yoga, Sikhism, and use of garlic juice. There was no denying that Yogi and 3HO was getting more and more popular with each passing day, and in 1994, they went completely global when the 3HO Foundation joined the United Nations as a non-governmental organization, having a consultative status with the Economic and Social Council, and thus representing women's issues, promoting human rights, and providing education about alternative systems of medicine. But were the things as perfect as they seem to be? Well, the answer actually is no. Not actual Sikhism? Now, what was the biggest claim of the 3HO Foundation and Yogi Bhajan? That its followers were Sikhs and part of the Sikhism religion. But what if I tell you that most of the members of Sikh community don't even accept Yogi's teachings as right and his followers as actual Sikhs? Well, the organization in general is widely criticized by the larger Sikh community, and to be honest, they have their reasons. According to South Asian Sikhs, Yogi had picked up certain aspects of the religion that he liked and abandoned others. Moreover, he was changing the religion according to his own will. For example, actual Sikhs aren't vegetarian. There is no mention of yoga anywhere in Sikhism, and wearing white isn't a requirement either. Other than this, according to Sikh scholars in Sikhism, you don't follow a guru that's alive today, unlike in 3HO, where the Sikhs followed, and sometimes even prayed to Yogi Bhajan. According to mainstream members of the religion, by following the doctrine version of Sikhism taught by Yogi Bhajan, people are violating more traditional Sikh teachings. Yogi Bhajan's teachings are closer to a synthesis of Kundalini Yoga, Tantric and New Age practices than anything originating from the teachings of Baba Guru Nanak. In 1977, Guru Charan Singh Tora, who was the former president of Shiromani Gurdwara Parbandhak Committee, SGPC, stated that Harbhajan Singh was not the leader of Sikhism in the Western world as he claimed, and denied various claims made by Yogi that the SGPC had given him the title of Sri Singh Sahib. Other than this, another Sikh high priest, Jaswant Singh, made a statement that he and his council professed to be shocked at Bhajan's fantastic theories. Yoga, Tantrism, and the sexual practices taught by Bhajan are forbidden and immoral. Sikh Dharma, capitalism at its best. In 1973, Yogi Bhajan founded Sikh Dharma International as a California nonprofit organization with an aim to advance Sikh Dharma and its teachings. But that wasn't all. This organization was turning 3HO into a business, and a pretty successful one too, if you ask me. The organization created entities like Akal Security, Yogi Tea, and Peace Cereal. Both Yogi Tea and Peace Cereal were part of the Golden Temple of Oregon, a natural foods company that was completely controlled by Yogi Bhajan, and by 2004, its worth was estimated to be $100 million. Similarly, Akal Security, where 3HO members were hired to guard small businesses, restaurants, and shops, grew to become a $500 million a year company. Now, any guess who controlled this company? Yep, you guessed it right, Yogi Bhajan. Now, for a moment, think for yourself. There's a person who's teaching his followers yoga, meditation, spirituality, and whatnot. But at the same time, he owns and controls several multi-million-dollar businesses? Fishy, right? Yogi a sexual predator? With the things I have mentioned, it becomes quite clear that 3HO wasn't what it seemed to be, but surprisingly, things were even worse than one could imagine. On October 6, 2004, Harbhajan Singh, aka Yogi Bhajan, died at his home in New Mexico. He was 75 years old at this point. Naturally, with him being a leader of such a large organization, many obituaries were published in newspapers all across the world, including New York Times, Times of India, and the LA Times. However, all of these people were unaware about the truth that would unfold later on. With the beginning of Me Too moment, several influential people all over the world were revealed to be harassers and sexual predators. And yep, Yogi Bhajan was certainly one of them. With each passing year, more and more people who had been part of 3Ho started coming forward with pretty serious allegations against Yogi. In 2019, Yogi's ex-secretary, Pamela Sahara Dyson, published her book, Premka, White Bird in a Golden Cage, My Life with Yogi Bhajan. In her book, she wrote that she and several other women of the foundation had sexual relationships with Harbhajan Singh. After this, in March 2020, an anti-cult activist named B. Schofield published a groundbreaking article in her magazine, The Guru, reporting sexual abuse and rape of countless female followers and assistants, including Pamela Dyson, by Harbhajan Singh. According to her, this report was based on more than a dozen original interviews that she had conducted. Now, the allegations this time were too serious to ignore, so the same month, the Siri Singh Sahib Corporation tasked an olive branch to look into this matter. After proper investigation, the AOB report was published in August. According to the report, it was more likely than not that Yogi Bhajan had raped 3 women, injured 8 women during sex, engaged in non-consensual touching of 9 people, showed pornography to minors, used sexually offensive language, directed women to shave their pubic hair, and directed women to have sex with other women. Moreover, the popular claim that Yogi was celibate was inaccurate and that he regularly used a variety of methods to control his students, including compartmentalization, quid pro quo, false promises, threats, slander, phone calls, guarding, and telling women they were his wife. After this report, many media houses published their own reports, all of whom considered these allegations to be true. Conclusion. Now, there's no denying that Yogi Bhajan was the person who introduced Sikhism to a larger audience of the Western world, but was his way the right way to do so? According to many experts, he used the religion for his gains, and 3Ho predominantly whitewashed the religion, with Yogi's students often calling themselves as white Sikhs. Similarly, if we talk about 3HO, the line between a cult and religion becomes quite faded and often completely disappears. Yogi, like many religious cult leaders, turned his cult into a money-making corporation that hijacked Sikhism in the West for decades. Sadly, because of his death, there's no way for us to actually hold him responsible for all of his crimes against women. But the next best thing that we can do is to make the people around us aware of the truth. I'll meet you soon with a new video. Until then, adios.